Oh, the big myth. It's really quite simple. A policeman asked me what I did for a living. And I looked down on the floor of my car. There was a linguistics book by John Grinder. He had written an introductory linguistics book with a woman, and it had come out, and it was sitting on the floor of my car. There was the programming manual for a PDP 1134A, and there was a neurology book, because I was trying to map out the motor cortex, and there was a really good picture of it, and they were sitting on the floor. So I just took part of each one. I went, neuro-linguistic programming. And I thought, So I said to the policeman, I said, I'm a neuro-linguistic programmer. And he went, oh, that sounds really important. Now, when I first started using the term, psychotherapists hated it. They said it wasn't feeling enough. That was back in the old touchy-feely days when, humanistic psychologists want everything, to be flowing with the river, and you can't push the river. And they didn't understand that intuitions are rule-governed. And when we were proposing that, myself and John Grinder, many, many years ago, it was a shattering idea that the brain itself had hardwiring and soft wiring, that it had hardware that determined how language would be learned no matter where you were in the world. And then you built up patterns which are idiosyncratic to the social structure. In the structure of magic, we laid out that there's hardware in the brain, and there's social constraints, neurological constraints, social constraints, and individual constraints based on your history that determined how you built your understanding or model of the world. And the things that you learned become patterns, and neurologically, they build neurocortical pathways. Some are there to start with, and some are layered on the top that you learn. And the fact that, calling things that people were programmed was offensive to a lot of psychotherapists. But the one thing they couldn't deny was the results that we got. So how did the term come about? It came about from a traffic stop. And I stopped at a hardware store on the way home and had a little sign made to put on my door that said neuro-linguistic programming. And they misspelled it, and it came out nervo-linguistic programming. So I had to go back and flip it over and have it carved again.